Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jar.
And I am Anthony Sie, and welcome to this edition of our program here at Focus on Liberia. The program you are watching is Focus on Liberia Spotlight. Focus on Liberia Spotlight is the program through which we throw the spotlight on a group or an individual doing something extraordinary in our community. We have a group here that is embarking on something that is impressive, something for the good of humanity. I'm happy to welcome to Focus on Liberia the group named the Liberian Diaspora Agriculture Group, that's LiDAG. This group focuses on what is best for farmers, producers, and encourages investment opportunities in the agricultural sector. And the group is represented here by members of this organization. I will bring them in one by one. Here is Dr. Kima Diggs. Dr. Diggs, it's good to have you. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. You may unmute yourself, please.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
All right. Also participating in this discussion is Aja Ajivan. It's good to have you and welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right. Also is Janice N. Gray. Janice, it's good to have you. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
All right. The only gentleman among them is we are Ato Do or Do Ato we are. Welcome, Mr. Do. I didn't hear you,
Thank
Mr.
you
Do.
so much, Mr. Sufficiency, my dear brother and friend. I said, well,
All right.
Thank you so much, my dear brother and friend.
Okay. That was Mr. Actado. Also joining us from all the way in Nigeria, the mother continent of Africa, is Angie. Angie, it's good to have you.
Good evening from my end. Good afternoon to all of you in the U.S. And it's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And I can welcome all of you enough to focus on Liberia as we discuss what is really important for the formage of Liberia. So, folks, this group primary goal is making full sufficiency a human rights issue, not only in Liberia, but also in Africa. We want to say to you again, the name of the group is the Liberian Diaspora Agriculture Group. At this time, we will get into the discussion here quickly, and we will start with the man in the room because he's been dominated here, and I like that he's been dominated. Mr. Ato Wiado, your organization, the LiDAG, you call it for short, how did you start, please? Mr. Atodo, I'm sure you heard me. Okay, then while Atodo is making some adjustment as his end, it seems to be having some issue with his.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now? So I was asking you, how did you get started as a leader?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh my God.
Oh,
All right, let's go to Archivon. The question is, how did you get started as leader?
Okay, so thank you so much for that question. As Arthur adjusts his equipment, LiDAG started actually on May 15th of this year when we had the Business Expo with the various entities from Liberia in education, agriculture, and so forth. And the minister was on the call with us. It's a group of people from all of the diaspora, United States diaspora, Canada, and also European diaspora. We're on the call to talk about basically what Liberia needed to move forward post COVID. And agriculture was a big thing. The minister was on a call with us. She spoke with us extensively about the need, about improving the agriculture sector in Liberia. And that's where LiDAG was birthed, from that initial meeting that we had. It was a really, it was really a great conference that we had. We talked mostly about the agriculture sector, investment, growing the local farmers, encouraging the local farmers to grow their own products, to basically help the food scarcity in Liberia. Instead of importing, we have our own where we can actually feed the multitude of people. So that's why LiDAG, our infamous leader, Arthur Weado, decided to form this group, and came to each one of us and asked us our expertise and asked us to be part of this group. And we were so happy to join. So that's where LiDAG was birthed.
Thank you. Mr. Arthur Weado, have you made the necessary adjustment there? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now back on my phone. I'm so sorry. I was struggling.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's good that all is well at your end. So I want to know, this is a group organized to focus on making Liberia full sufficient, or to make food sufficiency a human right issue in Liberia and also in Africa as a whole. So my question to you, Mr. Doe, is what is required to be a team member of this sector specific institution? Because you are specific, yeah, you are going to the particular area. So what is required of a person to be a member?
You don't have any requirement. There is no requirement. You can just come and express your interest to join the group, and you are part. There's no specific requirement at all.
I beg to differ. There is a specific requirement. You must love Africa. That's our requirement. You must love Africa, whether you're a Liberian, Nigerian, Ghanaian, whatever. You must have the love of Africa in you. Even Americans, you must have the love of Africa in you. That's
the love. The love of Africa.
You must love Africa. But I will have to ask again here, and then I will come to Janice here. I mean, do you have background in agriculture, or do you have expertise, or do you have people in your midst, or will you be reaching out to individuals who have expertise in the area of agriculture to advise you as you venture into this sector specific sector? Because this is agriculture. You must have the expertise, you must have the technology, you must have the know-how to be able to go into this sector, or else you will get frustrated. So answer my question, and that is for Janice.
Okay, let me start by saying I love Africa. I love having to grow my own food. As a young lady, I was fortunate enough to be around some of my family, my aunties and stuff that have hundreds and hundreds of acres of farm land in Liberia. And even myself, I spend most of my time growing up here in America. But you know what we do in America? We don't have the farmland, but we have outside garden. So at least I had an opportunity to grow my own product, the peppers and little stuff I can grow. And as always, we always look forward to experts. So we're always looking for expertise, advice. And I love to grow. I love to grow flowers. I love to grow plants, peppers, lots of vegetables. So I'm always back home as well. So every time I go back home, I have an opportunity to visit different farmland. So I really enjoy that, especially my aunties have a huge farmland in Bone County. So I'm always there.
So, but you will be tapping into the expertise of professionals in the area of agriculture, or this is not necessary at all?
It's no, you can always get help. You cannot
Okay.
refuse help. Maybe someone else might know something you don't know.
Mhm.
So we always gonna look for help.
So
We'll tap into that. Yes, definitely.
All right. Ato, let me come to you before I go back. I'll get to Angie here. You are saying, you just have to love Africa, and then you can be a member of this organization. So the question is, if one loves Africa, how is that enough for agriculture in Africa, to invest in agriculture in Africa?
For me, I think I told you that anybody can join, but specifically, I meant the person who have interest in promoting agriculture in Liberia for the first can join the organization. You can have love for Africa, but the measurement to say, yeah, you have this love for this thing as an African, it sometimes is not visible or sometimes it's visible. But for the agriculture sector in Liberia, I do have love for the agriculture sector in Liberia. I've been in politics for so long, and we have been talking about we have to be self-sufficiency, but we don't have the advocacy group to promote this thing, the particular sector. We just continue to talk and talk and talk. And so it is my love for agriculture because I love food. I love food. And but people ask me, but what all the food going? It's not that big, But the fact of the matter here is, I just have the love to promote the agriculture sector, and that is why I got myself into this. I must admit, I am not. My discipline is in health and administration, and my discipline is in public relations. And if you have a discipline in public relations, you can promote all things, including the FOL. So my love for agriculture, my love for the diaspora, to promote the diaspora interest, my love for everything, most especially at this time. You don't see me in politics most of the time, right? That is why I've been working on.
Thank you, Ato.
To promote the agriculture sector. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Angie, agriculture is huge. When we say agriculture, we're talking about agriculture. There are so many things we're talking about here. Food is not just rice, not just potato. Food, just many things, right? So talk to me, Angie. Have you identified some specific products or some specific area of agriculture that you want to direct investment and encourage people to invest?
Well, let me say that, first of all, we all are Liberians. And if you talk to any Liberian, what's our main diet? What do Liberians eat every day? Rice. And rice, for us, and I know my mom, she was definitely one of those. Any day my mother doesn't eat rice, and you ask her, have you eaten today? She would tell you no, if she didn't eat rice. Even though she's eaten every other thing, she'll still tell you, I haven't eaten today because she hasn't eaten rice. So rice is not a commodity that is new on the world market. Rice is not something that's being produced in large scales in different parts of the world. But it's something, though, that Liberia really, I think, really needs to invest in more than anything else, simply because we found out now more and more every day, more than half of our world population are eating rice. So, like before Liberia, when people talk about African countries and their diet, Liberia used to seem like the only one who are big rice eaters, but not anymore. All the other African countries, all over the world, everywhere else besides Africa, rice is becoming more and more an important source, nutrient, carbohydrates that everybody is eating. So it only makes sense that we do invest in rice, because Liberia is blessed that we have the climate. We also have the types of soil, the right environment for growing rice. And something else too that I wish that we would do in Liberia, we need to start promoting the love of what we grew, our own type of rice, that grows there the best. Because our type really, scientifically, every other thing have shown that is healthier than all of this polished, parboiled stuff that we seem to love. Like the other day in Liberia, when I heard that there was a rice shortage, I got scared. I was like, "What? How can we not have rice in Liberia?" And then
So
someone in
Angie,
Liberia told me that, yes,
Angie, if I may, you mentioned rice, and my
yes.
question was, what are the areas, what products, what type of food that you identified that you think Liberia need now to have plentiful in order to be
But no,
self-sufficient in
that's
food
not.
production?
But this is what I'm saying. Rice is our major diet. Liberians are
Yeah.
not changing our diet, and we're not self-sufficient in rice. Are
So
you
are you going to
understanding what
just
I'm saying?
focus on rice then, or
No, not just rice, but rice should be the primary simply because of the world market, the world need for rice. So besides being able to feed ourselves, since rice is our main source of food we eat, rice therefore should be the main thing that we concentrate on, make sure we produce enough of, because
so in
our people
addition to
need to eat
rice, what
everything.
else are you focusing
Okay.
on?
In
In addition,
addition to rice,
Mhm, mhm,
that's what I'm saying to you. In addition, we don't eat
mhm.
rice on its own. We eat rice with our different foods we have. We have palm butter, cassava leaf, colored grains. Then we also have the meat kind, protein kind that we eat, that we put into these foods. So every aspect of agriculture really is needed in Liberia. It's not just rice, but I'm just saying if you're talking in terms of sufficiency and also a way of getting income into the country, rice should be that major project. But in addition, we really should promote also farmers who are doing vegetable, farmers
And,
who are doing fruits, farmers who are doing poultry, piggeries,
and
livestock, any of those things.
thank you, Angie.
Okay,
And and
because
and,
all of those
and
are
these
part of
things,
all of those are part of agriculture.
and if I can follow up here with it, all of these things that you listed are those things that you already have a consensus on to direct investment and to encourage others to venture into, or you are still brainstorming. Where are you on that?
I'm sorry, please repeat that. Maybe I missed something of what you said.
You
Please
listed
repeat.
food types, and that is great. I'm saying, is that something you have an agreement on already, that yeah, are the areas that we're going to focus on as we carry on this work?
An agreement with who? You mean an agreement within our
You
group?
as a group.
Yeah.
Of
Let me
course,
let me
of
let me
course.
let me
No,
jump in.
no,
As
no.
a
Hold on, Mr.
group,
Doe. Hold on, Mr.
yeah.
Doe. Hmm.
As a group, definitely, we've agreed that we want to promote everything agriculture. In terms of the food products we listed, that's what
Hmm.
we're encouraging. It's really a very wide and open market. I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's so many aspects of farming, so people are not limited to say, "Oh, I must only grow this,"
Okay.
because our diet is very varied. It's very wide, and so there's opportunity for everyone in farming, regardless of what area in farming that has to do with food. Liberia, we're in place for everything there, and we're in total agreement with
Thank you
everything.
so very much. And Dr. Diggs, are coming to you. According to you, you are prepared, all right, to advocate for agro investment in Liberia. Your words, based on the literature you sent me, that you are prepared. So my question is, what all have you done as evidence of your preparedness? How prepared are you? What have you done to show that you are prepared?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about my background before I get there. As a little girl, growing up in Bon County, my father had my father was the first Liberian that grew swamp rice um in Bon County. And then he started with other vegetables and stuff. At that time, the swamp rice would go every 3 months or something like that. I was young, and he would harvest it, and it would and start all over in the swamp. So I was always behind my dad. So he grew stuff like cabbage, sweet potatoes, and whole lot of other cucumbers, you name it. And so my love and interest for agriculture was there because of my father. He was so good at that time. Years later, they made him the president of, if I'm not mistaken, it's called BCADP. Was a agriculture group in Bong County.
You went mute there, so mute yourself, please.
He worked with the farmers at the time. So I left Liberia, and it was always my love for agriculture. So in Liberia as well, we also have a huge rubber farm. So growing up with all that, my love had been with this whole agriculture thing. So coming to the States, my background is cosmetology. So I have a doctorate in cosmetology. Cosmetology is not only doing hair or makeup. It has to do with 500 different components of cosmetology. So what I do at times, I work with some manufacturers to test their hair products. Agriculture, looking at this agriculture, there's the oils that we use for our skin, for our hair, and so on and so forth, that goes into our makeup and all that. It derives from this whole agriculture. So my thing is, what can I do in that area to help speak to these people that own their manufacturing firms? What best can we do to bring that on board on the continent, especially in Liberia?
That is great, Angie. But my question actually was, you as a group, you said to me in your own literature that you are prepared.
I'm not Angie, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Diggs. I apologize. So, Dr. Diggs, my question was, you say you are prepared, to engage into the advocacy to lead to food sufficiency in Liberia, and to even go as far as making it a human rights issue in Liberia, and that you are prepared to do that. And I was just asking, what have you done to show that preparedness?
Well, this is a group effort, and at this moment, I'm going to turn that over to Arthur. He can answer it for the rest, for the group.
Yeah, I'm asking a question. When I say you, I'm talking about you as a group.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Arthur.
All right.
So what we definitely what we did and what we are doing is to show that we really prepare is to have our network involved into promoting this event, because our presence here is to promote the Agro Business Expo. That's the reason for which we are here. And we started these discussions from May, when the big summit, the Liberian Diaspora Summit, was held. And we facilitated the agriculture breakout section. In there, we had the Minister of Agriculture who made a presentation, and she called for the involvement of the diaspora Liberians to be involved into the promotion and advocacy of agriculture, encourage investment opportunities in agriculture. So at the end of the summit, we proposed that indeed we should have an agriculture expo. Usually in Liberia, they usually have the National Agriculture Fair, that, before the war. And since then, it was only held after the war. I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. And nothing, and the ministry said they were going to continue it every year. So when I made that proposal, the minister embraced it. And indeed, from there, we begin the process of having meetings and getting all of the things that would make.
So, Mr. Doe, you say you are prepared, and while you are explaining, you're just telling me conversation that you've been having. So are you just having conversation? I mean, I asked this question because when I read that, you said you are prepared. So I just want to know, hear from you. What evidence can you show me that you are prepared?
I'll give you a backdrop now. I'll give you a little background information. I'm sorry that I didn't school you on that. I'll give you a background information. So our preparedness in terms of having this event, I want for us to focus on the event, is to have our event drawn down in terms of finances, in terms of getting to our investors, in terms
So
of
I'm not asking for your event that is coming up. This is an organization you have established, all right, to promote agriculture in Liberia, to help make food sufficiency a human right issue in Liberia. And you say you are prepared to do that. Your event that is coming up in January is different. You want to come in?
I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question. I'm sorry. I'm going to answer that question. We are very prepared. We have been in, we have several investors that have been in contact with us that are prepared to come in and look at the dynamics of what's going on in Liberia as far as it relates to agriculture, businesses as it relates to agriculture, all aspect of it. As Angie alluded, agriculture is ambiguous. You have anywhere from cattle to farming. We have everywhere, we have fishery, that's all part of agriculture. So we have to look at the statistics of how farmers are moving products from their farm to the marketplace. All those things we're prepared. We're prepared to our farmers, prepared to educate our farmers. We're prepared to bring in investors into the country to make sure that our farmers are sustainable. We're prepared to do a lot of things. Which now is going to lead to the expo on 6th and 7th. The week of January 6th and 7th, leading up to just January 6th and 7th, we have prepared several events for that week leading up to the Agriculture Expo. So as far as your question, how are we prepared? We have been prepared. It's not only talks, we've put stuff in place and we have aligned people in strategically so that we are able to help the farmers in Liberia and also hopefully help increase the economy when it comes to farming. Because as you know, and I know, farming is something that is very vital to everyone, whether it's Liberia, the continent of Africa, North America, South America, Europe. Without farming, we would not survive because that's what
I couldn't agree more. And so have you set up structures in place already? Have you, arrived at programs that you are prepared to roll out? If yes, then what are some of the programs that you have in place already?
Absolutely. That's a great question. We do have a program. The day of the event, we are going to do a pitching contest where we're allowing farmers within Liberia, throughout the Liberian region, to come and pitch their ideas to us. At the end of that pitch, we are going to have winners. I mean, not everybody can be winners, but we are going to have winners. And that's where we're going to take our experts, subject matter experts, our expertise, and help these farmers build their business. Because you can be a farmer. If you don't know how to produce, you don't know how to sell, you don't know how to bank, you don't know how financing works, your farming industry is going to fail. And the thing that we're trying to do with this is where my expertise comes in as far as building businesses. We're going to help farmers build sustainable businesses so that they can do business with the government of Liberia so that it is intertwined. And they can also do businesses with the bordering countries. We have Sierra Leone, we have Ivory Coast, and we also have Guinea. I think it's very important that we have our farmers have that cross-country border trade where they can, sustain themselves financially and also supply food or livestock or whatever to the neighboring countries. And another thing I wanted to add to that we have discussed regarding the pitching contest that we're going to have. Angie had talked about the various types of products we have in Liberia. One thing that we as the team would like to see, a competition. We grow cocoa in Liberia. However, it is not to the point where we are competitive with Ghana. Ghana is the #1 leading source of cocoa production. Liberia has cocoa. This is where LiDAG comes in, where we are going to now help our local cocoa farmers be competitive to Ghana, because this is what we need. We need that competition is good. I'm a business person, so competition is healthy. And that's what we need. And that's where LiDAG comes in.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Jenny. You want to help the local farmers in Liberia. How do you intend to help them as you encourage them to go into agriculture? Aja talk about making them to become entrepreneurs in the area of agriculture. How specifically are you going to do that? Are you going to do that through training? Are you going to do that through resource mobilization? How for them to run a business? How are you going to do it? So let me give you a scenario of farmer A. How do you help farmer A to get to that place you want him or her to be, so that they can contribute to making food sufficiency a human right issue in Liberia?
So let me start by saying, great question. Also, all the things you mentioned are some of the things we actually do have in place that we're going to do. For example, farmer A. Let's say we give farmer A some money to get started on his farming, to increase. We are actually going to follow up with the farmers. We're not just, it's not going to be a one-time thing. This is ongoing. So we're going to progress, see how the progress move from month to month, from year to year. So we're going to be following up with the farmers. We're going to get them the tools. We're going to try to help them come up with business plans for investors. We're going to show them how they can input and export their products. So we're going to try to do different things to work with the farmers. So yeah, we're going to be giving them training, we're giving them business plan, we're giving them proposals, we're giving them investors, we're giving them the works. And this is something that is going on. It's not a one-time thing. So we're going to follow the progress as time goes.
Thank you. And Angie, you're going to be helping to connect them to investors who will want to partner with them. Maybe there's a particular product that farmer is into and may not have the necessary funding. Maybe this investor want to buy huge quantity of that product, but the farmer does not have the necessary resources to produce on a large scale. So talk to me. How do you intend to connect the investor to the farmer so that they both can benefit mutually?
Well, first of all, that's the whole point of our expo. Bringing the investors together with the local farmers. Because with us setting up this expo and starting off, we're obviously going to have a database of what different investors are interested in. We'll also have a database of the farmers we have and what they're producing. So based on that information, we're able to link the right investor with the right farmer, And as both of the ladies that everyone has been saying, where you are saying, what are your plans? What do you have? This is really just our first expo. This is going to be a continuous thing for us. Every year, we plan on having a major expo in addition to other little small programs along the way. And each year, we'll choose a different theme. It's just that this theme, we're concentrating on building the wealth of using agriculture to build wealth for farmers. So that's our theme for this year. But next year, we might decide to concentrate on something totally different that we know the need. We could decide to focus on research, because we know that research is important, in agriculture. We could decide to look into challenges that, our farmers are facing, because we know that they are facing many challenges. And I've spoken to quite a few farmers in Liberia since, we started getting together. And some of them even told me that challenge is actually not even financial. Their challenge is, for some of them, is actually finding feed for their stock. For those who are feeding animals or feeding, fish or whatever. So that's even another market totally altogether. There's someone here in Nigeria, actually, who that's what they're doing their research on. And they're in Uganda and every other place, but in Liberia, and one of them is Liberian, because we're not giving a listening ear. So we're hoping, that's the whole point of LiDAG. We want to be that listening ear, that connection between the government and our farmers, because we want to let the farmers, get what they should get, that they're happy, they're producing more. And at the same time, of course, that means the more production, it means more food all the Liberian people. So basically,
But-
that's what we're looking at.
Thank you, Mr. Doe. The way you intend to also proceed is to encourage diasporans, right? Not only Liberians in diaspora, right? Whether it be the U.S., Canada, everywhere, to see the need to invest in agriculture in Liberia. One might also think that you will not limit that to only Liberians, right? So talk to me. Have you started any effort in reaching out to Liberians to talk to them about the need to invest specifically in agriculture in Liberia? And if you have started, have you gotten any commitment so far from any Liberian or any national or any business that is into the area of agriculture?
Oh yes, yes, Mr. Ansonin, thank you so much again. We I have started. We have started. LiDAG has started, and in fact, before even LiDAG was founded, we have been having this communication with people who are already in Liberia, Liberians who are already in Liberia, doing extremely well when it comes to certain area they are interested in: rice production, fishery, livestock, and you name it, coffee. We have been talking to them already. I recently went to an event, two events, in fact, in DC here. I met Liberians. You will not believe this. Liberians who are doing extremely well in Liberia in the agriculture area. And we exchange information. It's all about networking. This is what the expo is for. And, yes, indeed, non-Liberian as well are met. For instance, JDOS International is an organization that has been in existence for quite some time. And, when I was in my political field, this lady supported us. She supported us in our campaigning. And she has vested interest in Liberia. You see, so she's one of them, and we have the fellow for the proposed African World Trade Center. He is going to Liberia to invest in agriculture. We don't want to call a whole lot of names here, but indeed, yes, we have been talking to diaspora Liberians and also non-Liberians as well to consider Liberia as the area to invest, most especially in agriculture, because we talk too much of politics. For me, I'm getting tired of that. And so this agriculture thing.
I tell you are tired already. You say you're getting tired. You should be tired already. But after good answers there, let me follow up quickly before I can get to Aja here. The commitment have you gotten from Liberians and other nationals? Are they all in the U.S.? You don't want to leave out China, and if possible, other African countries are doing well. Any other commitment, any other conversation you have with any group of people or anybody in any country? Mr. Doe, did you hear my question?
Pardon me?
Did you hear my question?
No, I did not get you.
So my question was, what you just explained to me, you have had conversation with individuals in the U.S. I'm asking, have you had conversation with anybody or any group of people, or any business, any part of the world besides the United States?
Oh, yeah. I got my dear brother and friend in Nigeria. I think Auntie made mention of him. He myself, we talk nearly every day. He's in Nigeria producing feeds, for agriculture development in Nigeria and Uganda. He myself, we talk a lot. And I got a friend in South Africa as well. We discuss a lot. And these people really want to come to the expo. And these are some of the people we talk to outside our Liberian community. So yes, indeed, we have people in Nigeria, we have people in South Africa, we have folks that we've been talking to all over.
Thank you. And Ajal, I know the connection here is key. Networking is key. Working with people who are already in the area, who have the money, who have interest in agriculture is key. So I want you to contribute to the question I asked earlier. Have you been having conversation with whom? How far you are with some of these conversation and where?
I've had several conversations with farmers in Rwanda, Botswana, Germany. We have a company that is very, very interested in Liberia's agriculture out of Germany, and they produce a organic fertilizer, and it's something that they really want to bring to Liberia and showcase. I have another company that is up and coming. Their headquarters here in Georgia, but they have interest in Botswana and Nigeria. It's another, so Rwanda. I have a client that is there about to just was approved for 250 hectares to grow marijuana. So farming is everywhere, and Liberia. The message that I received previously from some of these prospective people that I've spoken with was the fact that they were not sure whether Liberia was open for business when it comes to agriculture. So they focused on other countries. So I assured them that no, Liberia is open for business for agriculture. We need investors. We need partners. We need people to come in and see our agriculture sector and love it, because everybody's given their background about farming. I grew up in Liberia, even though I left when I was 10 years old. My grandfather was an avid farmer. I'm one of the, there's, I think 8 or 10 of us that are in charge of our grandfather's farm. When I remember as a little girl, I would go on the farm. We had pineapples, cassava, and so forth. And when I'm in Liberia, I'm on the farm. So I love farming. I love agriculture, basically. I live in Delaware, and the saying in Delaware is that we have more chickens than people. We have the number one chicken poultry farming in the United States. Basically, it's located in Delaware. So I know I've been talking poultry to a lot of people in Liberia about bringing in free range chickens, which is another part of agriculture. We have one of the best port authorities here in Delaware. It's growing and expanding. We would love to do business with Liberia, be able to import and export produce and products to and from Liberia. So talking to people, talks. My background, I ran for a political office in Delaware, so a lot of people know me from that. So I've been talking with a lot of people. I've talked to the Secretary of Agriculture here several times. He's very interested in Liberia, doing business with Liberia agriculture sector, mostly the poultry side. So we are been in talks, and this is, like Angie alluded to it, this is our very first exposition. With everything that's first, we're going to have some glitches. Okay. We're prepared for that. But the thing about it is, the bottom line is to make people aware of our agriculture sector in Liberia, what we need, and to promote our farmers. That is the most important thing right now. And every year we plan on doing this, alluding to it. We've just honestly got a call for us to go to Osun State in Nigeria to bring this to Nigeria, because they see the vision. They see the vision like we see the vision, but we started with Liberia first because we're all Liberians and we have the love of Liberia in our hearts. Like, the Arikana said, the former AU ambassador, she said, Africans, we're not only Africans because we're born on a continent. We're Africans because we have the love of Africa in our hearts. So people can say, "Oh, you're white, you don't love Africa." No, it's the love of Africa in our heart. And these investors love Africa. They see the potential. We just had the U.S. Africa summit last week. Why do you think they had the summit? Because they see the vision. They see the vision in Africa, and they want to do what's right for Africans. So we have to do what's right for our people.
I couldn't agree more. And it is about time that we Africans see the potential that Africa has, the advantages that continent has, young population, less terrible weather, and all that. And you see that Westerners and investors are focusing there. We have to get ahead of them so that they can't eat our lunch again. We'll take a short break. Yeah,
eat our lunch and throw up the ball.
Yeah, we'll take a short break. We are in conversation with Liberian Diaspora Agricultural Group. Its goal is to make Liberia food sufficient, trying to make food sufficiency a human right issue, not only in Liberia, but across the continent of Africa. And the group is also having what they call an exposition. What is that? When is that happening? When we come back, we'll be talking to them about that event that they have organized. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we are back with you, and we continue our conversation with the Liberian Diaspora Agricultural Group, that's LiDAG, which has this goal of trying to encourage investment in the agricultural sector. And they are also having an event scheduled for January 6th to January 7th, 2023, and we want to talk about this event. So talking about this event, we'll bring in Dr. Diggs. Dr. Diggs, are you with us? All right. She's not ready yet, so now let's go to Janice here. Janice, quickly, the event that you are organizing in Liberia, I'm curious, you named it Liberia First Annual Agricultural Exposition. I don't know what is involved there. Talk to me about it. Why this event and what do we hope to see?
I am so excited. Let me start by saying first, it's a whole week leading up to the event. So for example, on Monday, we have a lot of people going to be flying in on Monday, so we're getting a chance to rest. And even time we take them out to the local restaurants so they can enjoy Liberian food. On Tuesday, we're going to take them in the evening time to D Calabash. It's going to be a LiDAG night at D Calabash. We're going to be doing that. On Wednesday, we have casino night. So everybody going to get to participate in the casino. And in the daytime, we're going to take them to Preparedness Island. We're also going to be taking them to oh, I'm so excited. This my neck of the woods. I'm excited now. On Thursdays, we're gonna be meeting. We're gonna take our investors and we're gonna be meeting with government officials for dinner. And then on Friday is when everything starts off. That's when the expo starts. So we're gonna have our local farmers. We're gonna have people coming that's already in the country. We're gonna have cultural troops. We're gonna have musicians. On Saturday, it's the ball. Get ready to get dressed up. That's my part. That's the part I'm waiting for. Get dressed up. So we're gonna have a whole day program, and then we're gonna have the ball on Saturday evening, and then after that on Sunday we're gonna go to Bassa. We're gonna plan the trip for everybody to go to Bassa. So we have so many things planned and so excited about it. So every day we're gonna have something for people to do. So they won't just come in the country for 1 or 2 days or come and just sit in the hotel room. So we got restaurants planned here. We already set up things with the different restaurants. Event, casino night, Calabash, Providence Island. We're gonna be looking a trip to Bassa. I love Monrovia so we can get to see something different. I cannot remember the name of the river. I'm sorry, I don't have my paperwork with me. Do you remember where the lake and the river meets? That's what we're trying to do in Bassa.
Edina. That's Edina.
Edina. So we're excited about that. Yeah. I haven't been myself.
The ocean and the two rivers meeting.
Thank you. And let me come to you, Dr. Diggs. Wow. What a list of activities. And I'm listening Joe enticed by that list. I'm like, okay, if your goal is to promote agriculture, investment into agriculture, you bring in investors and the farmers together, farmers bringing their produce to show the investors, for investors to see the quality of those things and invest. And then you have all these side activities, the culture. So that's my question. Are you not doing too much here? How is each of the other activities important to this event? And how does that kind of like reinforce the goal of the event here?
Well, we're gonna be having the event for a couple days, and then people that are coming in, we want to showcase certain parts of Liberia, the beauty of Liberia. So we take them places to encourage them to want to keep coming to Liberia or to invest into Liberia. Show them some excitement about the country.
Right. For example, let me just jump in for a second. For example, the trip to Preparedness Island, that's the history of Liberia we're trying to give to them. And then we also have a day where we're meeting with government officials, so that we know they get a chance to sit and talk to Liberian officials. They're not just coming and doing nothing. We try to get another history, try to show them Liberia. So a lot of people in their mindset think Liberia may not be up to par or something. So we try to get them.
You want them to feel welcome. You want them to feel welcome.
Exactly.
And alleviate their fears and concern about the country.
Exactly.
You want them to see the beauty of Liberia, the culture of Liberia, and experience it, and say, well, this is a friendly place. These are friendly people. I can do business here.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
I think it's important.
Yeah, that is very important. So, Angie, anything you wish to add? Because this event, you bring in the investors. What expectations do you have? Have you had conversation with the farmers that you bring in? To prepare them? I know they should know what to do, but you bring in investors. Investor might have certain expectation. You want to be successful. So what are some of the things you expect or you were telling your farmers to do and that will meet the expectation of the investors you are bringing?
Okay, first of all, as we said, this is an expo. It's not an actual culture fair. Okay, it's an expo. So the farmers really are not coming in with their products to show investors. So it's not that sort of thing, yes. So basically them meeting, getting to know each other and finding out what's there. So it's like I'm not talking about networking. Okay. So this is the first opportunity to really network, meet, get the right information that they need to get started in whatever business they want to. I mean, for those who in terms of investment, the farmers who are looking for certain things, they're meeting the right people and learning how to go about doing it. What they need to do anyway in order to promote or to grow whatever business they have. So as I said, it's not something where we're bringing. Say, for example, there's a local farmer who's there, and there's an investor who's there who maybe might say, oh, I'm really interested in people doing poultry. In just meeting up with someone who's a poultry farmer, and maybe that poultry farmer's farm may not be that far out of Monrovia. So, but they've met, and because they've met there, that farmer could take that investor actually, because people have those extra days, could take that farmer, that investor out to their farm. So they actually see what that farmer has in place and see if it's something that they can do business, they can expand, or whatever the situation is. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah,
but our farmers are not really to really show.
Okay, and Ajal, this event is big from what I'm hearing. I like all that you try to put into it to make it so colorful. So one would think that this got to be successful by all costs. So talk to me, what will you be looking for to say, yes, we did it, this was successful at the end of it all? What will you be looking for?
I guess success is basically on an individual level. As a group, our succession, when we look at what the day is going to entail, is basically how many farmers do we engage with that day, how many networking opportunities that they had, to talk to investors or local investors, foreign investors, how many network they made with each other, because some farmers could have a farm next to another farm and don't even communicate and don't know what they're growing, so that's our succession rate. It's not about the money you bring in, or it's about the outcome. Our objective is to, as said, we're helping the farmers, we're helping the agriculture sector. That's our objective. So our succession rate is going to look at how many farmers did we help, how many people came in, because we have to take a statistics of how many people that actually came into the exhibit, participated. We have a panel discussion on the first and second day. Subject matter experts that's going to be on the panel, so the farmers or participants can ask questions and get questions answered. So the succession is basically based on our outcome, how we help the farmers. That's what we're looking for as a succession. We're going to move forward. As I stated earlier, this is our very first. We're going to have some glitches. We're expecting to have some glitches. Regardless of the succession, we are going to have some form of, we didn't bring this, or we forgot to bring this, or we forgot to talk to this. But this is how we move on, because this is an ongoing thing. Once we start this initial expo, we're going to do one in 2024, 2025, until Liberia, I'm going to put it away. Till Liberian people get sick of us, but they won't get tired of us because we're there to help.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Actor Wiado. We are in a contemporary world now. Money is everything. Please don't disagree, because you will never win that debate, my friend. So to run this institution, to keep it alive and doing what it's intended to do, you need money to get you going. Even the expo that you're talking about, the planning and all that, how are you funding this institution to carry on its work? That's the big question, my friend.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we have packages. We have packages. The CEO will elaborate more on that, but we have packages. We have sponsorship, and we have exhibitor, people who we go there and talk about their products, and the sponsorship of people who are sponsoring our program. And these categories include bronze, people who are interested in cocoa and coffee. We have silver, people who are interested in fishery and livestock. And we have the gold. The gold in Liberia now, I don't need to talk about the gold. The gold is the rice. So that's the highest package that we have. People who want to produce rice, the investors who want to invest in the rice business, So we have certain categories, all of these categories, and we have fees attached to them. So I will turn it over to the CEO, who's going to take care of that very effectively too.
Yeah, and CEO Atos, I should come to you for my answer.
Okay.
You know, Liberia, every little thing that you do, that money, the people on the ground, you have to pay them. How are you doing this?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you, Arthur. We are a nonprofit. We're a 501(c)(3), and if you know, like I know, nonprofit in America, like your platform, I was looking at yourself. There's donation. Nonprofit do not have readily available funds. We beg. We ask for donation. We grovel. We do everything, because that's what nonprofit does. I tell everybody, if you do not have the spirit to be in nonprofit and ask for money, you cannot be a nonprofit. That's how nonprofit operates. With this event, we, the five of us, have been pouring in our finances into this, because as an initial entity, you have to show face, you have to show vested interest. But we are asking the community. We have a link that they can go on to sponsor some of our farmers, to even be a sponsor and donate. We have different packages, as Arthur was talking about. We listed the packages based on the necessary crops and produce in Liberia, as rice being the gold. We have bronze. We have $1,000 for bronze. We have $3,000 for silver, I think it is, right? And then 5,000 for gold. And the thing I tell everybody, to put an exposition together this large, we need funding. We do not have private funding. We are only taking donations, and we need help. We are a nonprofit. This program is going to go take place regardless. But the fact of the matter is, we're still in need of funding. So if anyone can find it in their heart, we will put in the chat room our link to please go on and make a donation. Sponsor several farmers who cannot make it from River G to the city to produce, to come and meet, have this one-time opportunity so that we can be able to help them. Sponsor a farmer in your community. I'm appealing to all of our representatives, our legislators, our senators, our business partners out there, everyone, whether it is private entity or public entity, we're appealing to you. Sponsor someone. As the exhibitors, we have a fee for exhibitors. And all of this include breakfast, dinner, and lunch. So in Liberia, it's not cheap to feed people. So we got to pay for the hall. We have a hall. We have to pay for the hall. We have to pay for food. We have a gala, a fundraiser gala that night. So understand, people, if you're used to dealing with NGOs, and that's what we call it in Africa, NGOs, non-government organization. In America, it's called nonprofit. You know that we always asking for funds. Five of us has already put our funds into this, and we've had other sponsors that have come in along, and we're very grateful for all of the sponsors to date. But we still need help. As the CEO, I am appealing to you. We need your help.
The CEO is appealing, and I think that was a necessary question. But mind you, though, money might not be the only challenge you're having, right? So, Janice, talk to me. Are there other challenges? Are there other constraints that you have that you're working on? And how are you trying to solve those constraints to be successful?
First of all, nothing is perfect. Let me start by saying that. And this is our first. So we're getting started. By the way, let me say one quick thing. I have dropped the link. So Eventbrite, so for donations, sponsorship, people that want to participate, that is there as well in the comment section for them to click on. With that said, one of the things we want to work on that might be challenging, we're trying to reach as many farmers as possible. And I think one of the main things, we don't have the database of the farmers right now. So we have a lot of farmers we have already got in touch with, but we want to reach as far as we can all over Liberia. So that's one of the challenges. But word of mouth is getting around. And I'm getting a lot of calls from people. I got people in Liberia calling me because I heard about it from somewhere in Nigeria, from all over the world. So our thing is trying to make sure we reach as many farmers as possible to get the farmers in. So that's one of the challenges we have right now, I think. But it's not something that cannot be handled. That's easily fixed.
Thank you. And again, we are almost at the end here. So, Angie, if I may here quickly, Liberians are all over the world now. And what you are doing here, I think is something that will require all of us to put a hand around you, because when you are talking about making food sufficiency a human right issue in Liberia, we need all hands on deck to make it happen. So what do you have to say to Liberians across the globe and friends of Liberia? How can they help? I know you shared a link, but how do you want them to help, and why you think that is important?
Well, number one, it's important because as Liberians, we should all want to see our country move forward. Especially Liberia, as we know, Liberia is a very blessed country, really, especially in terms of the soil, what we have, and what was a very fertile place. And there's no reason why, there shouldn't be sufficient food in Liberia. there should be no Liberian child who goes hungry any day. You know, we've had some of the most fertile soil in the world. Everything grows. You know, as my mother says, because, you know, she said, Liberia, our soil, you can just even throw a seed and you'll see something starting to grow there, you know. So my message is, please, the Liberians out there in the diaspora, please look at home, see what you can contribute, you know, to Liberia to build it back up to where we know we should be. You know, it's terrible that we had to go through a war for so many years, and we know that it put us back a lot, but that doesn't mean that it's the end. We can always rebuild. So my call is, please come home, see what you can do to contribute, you know, to Liberia. A lot of Liberians out there in the diaspora are also experts in agriculture. Many of them we don't even know or know about. We're inviting you, please look out for our group. Come and join us, because we're happy to welcome anyone who has that interest in agriculture and you know, want to promote agriculture in Liberia.
Thank you so very much. Focus on Liberia will like to say thank you for reaching out to us to help you get your words and your work out to the Liberian community and also friends of Liberia. This is a water course. Because of time, we will ask your CEO to give your closing remarks. And after that, we will be coming to the end of the broadcast. And CEO, you can talk about, you can summarize the goal of your organization, and also close on your expo that is coming on January 6th to the 7th. You can go ahead now.
Okay. Anthony, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate this platform. Again, we are LiDAG, Liberia Diaspora Agriculture Group. We are a group that loves the continent, also love the country Liberia, where we're all from. And we also love the fact that agriculture is something that a lot of people are not talking about, but need to be talking about. So, you know, our expo that's coming up, it's hopefully going to bring awareness to many, the need to improve our agriculture sector in Liberia, the importance of growing it to where I remember as a kid where it used to be, growing up in Liberia. So I believe that if once this expo has been produce and be successful, I'm hoping that more people will come on board. However, right now we're set to have this exposition on January 6th and 7th, and also have an exposition week from January 3rd to the 8th. So if you're in Liberia or you're planning on traveling to Liberia between that time, I would encourage you to please participate in our expo and bring, you know, if you're a farmer, please contact us, go on our Facebook page, sign up. We have our numbers on the flyer. We have our Liberian number, our Nigerian number, and our American number. If you're in the United States and you need to contact someone to prepare yourselves for the exposition, please, by all means, do that. From the LiDAG group, we want to thank you, Anthony, for inviting us here today, for putting us on this platform. And I'm hoping that more people are now abreast of the LiDAG group. So I thank you very much. And I hope you could be in Liberia when we're there doing our wonderful week of extravaganza and our expo and our ball. Thank you.
I will try to work on that, for this is a worthy cause. I hope, and I can only hope, because hope is a good thing. On that note, we want to say thank you for coming and speaking to us and making Liberians to understand that making food sufficiency a human right issue in Liberia is your goal, and that agriculture is our way out of poverty to create wealth and to make our people get the employment that they need, especially the young people. Thank you. This is a worthy cause, folks. This is how we'll come to the end of this edition of our program. Focus on Liberia Spotlight, a program we do use to throw the spotlight on any group, on anybody in our community doing something extraordinary. And LiDAG is one of such groups that is doing that. I know when I'm hungry, I know how it feels. It impacts everything from health to your mental thinking, especially those who are in school in Liberia. They are hungry. The way we feed them is to go to the soil. And that is the path you have chosen. There couldn't be any better path than that. On that note, the song that says we are all Liberians is taking us home. And Liberians must be the one who feed Liberia through agriculture. Thank you for coming, and bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Thank you for having us.